Why would Jungkook, one of the most recognized faces in K-pop, walk through a public airport with an unusually heavy disguise only when Taehyung was beside him? And why did the air between them feel so silent, yet so loud at the same time? ARMYs, brace yourselves. This isn't just another airport sighting. This could be a sign of something deeper, something being deliberately hidden. It started with a blurry video on X. At first glance, it seemed harmless, two men walking briskly through a busy airport terminal. But fans with eagle eyes saw right through the casual footage. The figure with the oversized hoodie, black cap pulled down to his lashes, mask pulled high over his face, that had to be Jungkook. And walking just 2 steps beside him, with a black face mask and longer strides, was undeniably Kim Taehyung. What struck fans more than their identities was the energy, or rather, the tension. Why was Jungkook dressed like he didn't want anyone to know it was him? And more importantly, why did he seem to avoid even a glance toward Taehyung, despite walking side by side? It's not unusual for idols to cover their faces in public spaces. Privacy, safety, fan crowd control, all valid reasons. But longtime fans of BTS pointed out a pattern. Whenever Jungkook is seen alone, his disguises are usually minimal, just a cap and mask, sometimes even none at all. But in this footage, he was barely recognizable, almost like he was hiding from someone or something. What's more, his body language, hands in pockets, head lowered, steps in sync yet emotionally distant from Taehyung, was anything but casual. Was this an intentional appearance meant to send a message? Or was this a secret meeting caught accidentally by fans? The video wasn't uploaded in silence. Someone added subtitles, and those subtitles lit the match. They haven't been seen together in so long. Jungkook has been meeting Jimin more often these days. Is this goodbye, or something they're trying to keep from us? It didn't take long before the comments section exploded. Why so much effort to stay hidden if you're not hiding anything? Taekook used to smile when they were near each other. Now they don't even look. There's something going on, and I feel like we're being shut out. Those who have followed BTS for years remember the bond between Jungkook and Taehyung. Playful, teasing, unfiltered, full of laughter, even in silence. But in this video, there was no visible warmth. No playful shoulder bumps, no eye contact, just walking. Fast. Quiet. Fans noticed that even when Taehyung paused momentarily, perhaps waiting for Jungkook to catch up, Jungkook didn't seem to respond. Was it a missed cue or intentional avoidance? What could have possibly happened that shifted their dynamic so drastically? Some fans believe that something happened behind closed doors. A fight, a betrayal, a misunderstanding. Others believe this is about Jimin. In recent weeks, Jungkook has been seen with Jimin in public and in live broadcasts more often than usual. Meanwhile, Taehyung's been quieter, more reserved, often seen alone or with non-BTS acquaintances. A few even wonder, could this strange encounter in the airport be a coincidence? Were they actually flying together, or did they bump into each other? But the most widely shared theory is the most controversial one. They're still close, but HYB doesn't want us to know. Despite the video going viral and netizens demanding clarification, HYB has said nothing. Not a word. Not even a vague, they were just traveling for personal schedules. For many, that silence screams louder than any confirmation. Because if there's nothing wrong, why not just say so? Why allow thousands of theories to spiral without offering even a line of context? Was it just an airport encounter? Or was this the first leak in a bigger story that's being kept under wraps? Are Jungkook and Taehyung avoiding each other? Or are they avoiding us, the public gaze that dissects their every interaction? One commenter put it perfectly. Sometimes the most painful part isn't the distance, it's pretending the closeness never existed. If this was just a fleeting moment, why did it feel like the closing of a chapter? At the end of the day, no one knows what really happens between the two BTS members. But what's clear is this: fans noticed, and fans are feeling it. Whether it's the silence, the disguise, or the absence of interaction, something is different. And if this is just the beginning, armies everywhere are holding their breath for what comes next.
So, what do you think Jungkook was hiding that day? Was it just his identity or his emotions? The storm didn't calm overnight. In fact, as the video continued circulating across platforms, more fans began dissecting every frame. The way Jungkook's shoulders were slightly hunched forward, the way Taehyung's steps faltered just for a second, as if he had been waiting for something that never came. And then there was the undeniable fact that both of them, despite being in the same place at the same time, behaved like strangers sharing a silence too loud to ignore. The disguise wasn't just fabric, it felt symbolic. Jungkook, wrapped in layers of anonymity, didn't even resemble himself at first glance. Fans were used to his casual airport looks, confident and open, even if understated. But this time, his hoodie was pulled so low, it almost shadowed his entire face. The surgical mask was ordinary, yes, but when combined with the cap and his refusal to make eye contact with anyone, especially Taehyung, it all seemed calculated, intentional. It sent a message louder than any statement HYB could ever release. But the strangest part? Taehyung didn't seem surprised by it. He walked beside Jungkook as if this had happened before. Not recently, not publicly, but perhaps in silence. In the unseen moments behind practice rooms, backstage corridors, and long car rides filled with unspoken tension. There was no hostility in Taehyung's face, just something heavy, something like regret or maybe resignation. People began speculating that the name Jimin appearing in the subtitle wasn't accidental. A few eagle-eyed armies even remembered Taehyung and Jimin being less visible together lately, and that Jungkook and Jimin went live twice last month, laughing, smiling, reading comments together with no hint of strain. Was there something going on that fans weren't told? Could this triangle be more emotional than anyone expected? Theories ranged from absurd to heartbreaking. Some believed this was a planned interaction, that perhaps Taehyung and Jungkook were testing the waters, seeing how fans would react to them being seen together again. Others weren't so optimistic. They believed this moment was not meant to happen, that one of them, maybe Jungkook, was supposed to arrive after the other had already boarded, that someone slipped up, that someone didn't get the memo, and when they did cross paths, all they could do was keep walking, masks up, heads down. Still, something was undeniably off. People talked about how close they used to be, how Taehyung once said that Jungkook was like his younger brother, how Jungkook once cried during an interview when speaking about what Taehyung had taught him over the years. There was a time when they were inseparable, not just in group activities, but off stage. They traveled together, they played games together. Their laughter used to echo louder than any microphone. But in that airport video, there was no laughter, no whispers, just movement and silence. HYB's refusal to comment added more weight to the moment. Some fans insisted that perhaps this was all exaggerated, that a short clip couldn't possibly reveal the complexity of a 10-year bond. But others weren't convinced. They pointed out that even in brief glimpses, energy never lies. And in this case, the energy felt guarded, not just from the public, but from each other. The video made its way into media outlets. Headlines started to pop up, carefully worded to avoid speculation, yet clearly designed to stir emotion. Taehyung and Jungkook cited at Incheon, no interaction reported, read one. Heavily disguised idol sparked mystery. Was it BTS's Jungkook? Questioned another. Some Korean entertainment blogs went even further, quoting anonymous staff members who claimed that schedules had been deliberately separated for months, that even backstage they no longer sat beside each other, that things changed after a disagreement no one would speak about on record. For ARMYs, this was more than just gossip. It was heartbreak. Fans who grew up with BTS, who saw Taehyung and Jungkook's bond as a comforting presence through the years, were left confused, hurt, wondering what could fracture something so deeply rooted. They replayed the footage again and again, searching for something, a glance, a gesture, a smirk, anything that could reassure them it was all just a misinterpretation. But nothing came. What they got instead were rumors. People began citing an old V Live moment where Jungkook had gone quiet after a joke from Taehyung. A few even recalled the moment Taehyung had unfollowed Jimin briefly on Instagram months ago. Was it connected? Was Jungkook caught between them?
Others took a different angle entirely. They theorized that Jungkook was not avoiding Taehyung out of conflict, but out of protection. Maybe there were things happening that they couldn't reveal. Maybe HYBE had imposed restrictions, public distance to avoid fueling rumors that had once threatened to derail entire comebacks. Maybe they were being cautious, not distant, defensive, not cold. But that didn't explain the heavy disguise. That didn't explain the way Jungkook kept his head down even when Taehyung briefly turned toward him. That didn't explain why it felt like they were walking together, but carrying miles between them. Fans pleaded for clarification. They flooded Weavers with questions. Some demanded answers, others sent warm messages, just hoping their words might reach the two artists, if not to bring them back together, then at least to let them know they were loved, even in silence. Still, the silence lingered. And sometimes silence speaks louder than words. In the end, that blurry video wasn't just a clip. It was a mirror, reflecting not just the reality of two idols caught in a moment, but the deeper ache of millions who once believed in an unshakable bond. Whether this moment was a misunderstanding or the residue of something deeper, one thing is certain. Fans saw it, they felt it, and they won't forget it. Perhaps Jungkook wore a disguise to hide from the public eye. Or perhaps he wore it to hide how much he's really feeling. But Taehyung didn't look away, and that might be the most honest part of it all.